earlier and covered many sections of BNS. In this series, we are now continuing with section 13. Section 30, act done in good faith for benefit of a person without consent. Nothing is an offense by reason of any harm which it may cause to a person for those benefit it is done in good faith, even without that person's consent. If the circumstances are such that it is impossible for that person to signify consent, or if that person is incapable of giving consent and has no guardian or other person in lawful charge of him from whom it is possible to obtain consent in time for the thing to be done with benefit. So this section is simply saying that if any act done in a uh, good faith for the person, good faith in the person favor, without persons without consent. If any act done to any person without consent is no offense. Okay, कुछ नहीं बोल रहा इसमें. It is simply saying that nothing is an offense, nothing is offense if it is done to an people without their consent. So means because it have the act was done in good faith. Mostly whenever we this act is providing the benefit of persons. Mostly what happen whenever there is accident, people are afraid that they have to go long if they come and rescue the uh, uh, victim of accident or the person who have caused suffer injuries. They might get into trouble and long procedure, and they have to deal with police. The people are afraid of police, so this is action is to safeguard them. If some person has a deal have caused accident on road and therefore suffered many injuries in on her body, his body, so and become unconscious. So if someone take him to the hospital, if the surgeon has operated on him without her consent, but the necessity of that circumstances, the situation is that if the person will not get him to the hospital, and if the surgeon will not operate on his body, then he will not survive. So it is a necessity, and those persons who are taking him to hospital or who is operating on him, they are acting in a good faith. So anything happen or any act they are the in for surgeon, he may operate on the body of the uh, people who suffered injury. So he may have to cut the body, he may have to stitch some stitches. So therefore, if it is done in a good faith, then there is no such kind of punishment. That act will not amount to the offense. But in circumstances or exceptions, it will not cover the your act. When the intentionally causing death or attempting the to cause death, means it is simply saying that these these exception will not allow or given the benefit of this section to person who intentionally causing the death of the person or attempting to cause the death. And secondly, the B, the doing of anything which the person doing it knows to be likely to cause death for any person other than the preventing of death or grievous hurt or the curing of any grievous hurt or infirmity. The doing of anything which the person doing it knows to be likely to cause death for any purpose other than. This section is simply saying that अगर कोई पर्सन है और उसे पता है कि वो कोई एक्ट करने जा रहा है और वो डेथ, उसका क्या रिजल्ट होगा, द पर्सन विल डाई, ओके, बट वो एक्ट को कंटिन्यू कर रहा है ये जानते हुए भी, और उसका जो इंटेंशन है वो ये नहीं है कि इसको जो सामने वाला पर्सन है, द पर्सन prevent the other person from death or any grievous hurt. He knows, he have knowledge that his acts is going to result into death of the other person, and he is doing that act not preventing the death or grievous hurt to that person. So this section's benefit will not be given to him. So, when we see the C, clause C, the voluntary causing of hurt or attempting to cause hurt for any purpose other than the preventing of death or hurt. This is the similar section from the clause B, that if the voluntary causing of hurt means he knowingly causing hurt to some person or attempting to cause hurt, but his intention is not to prevent death or grievous hurt to that person, then you will not get the benefit of this section. And section D is saying that the abatement of any offense to the committing of which offense it would not extend. It is simply saying that any abatement of offense to the committing of which offenses would not extend. This is so simple. Let's see the illustration first. Jed is thrown from his horse and is insensible. A surgeon find that Jed required to be trepanned. A, not intending Jed's death, but in good faith for Jed's benefit, perform the trepan before Jed recovers his power of judging for himself. A has committed no offense, like the first example I have given you. So, example number second is that Jade carried off by a tiger. Okay, A fires at the tiger, knowing it to be likely that the shot may kill Jed, but not intending to kill Jed. Here, the A fires at the tiger because tiger is carrying Jed, and A fires at the tiger, and he knows that it may cause or the death of the Jed, but not intending to kill Jed, and in good faith intending Jed benefit. A as bullet gives Jed a mortal wound. A has committed no offense because he is acting in behalf of and tries to save the Jed. Okay, so it is very important that he here is good faith that Jed is trying to save the Jed. And the third example is that a surgeon sees a child suffer an accident which is likely to prove fatal unless an operation be immediately performed. There is no time to apply to the child guardian. A performs the operation in spite of the entreaties of the child, intending in good faith the child benefit. A has committed no offense. So it is very important that here in this section you may have done your act, but it should be in the good faith, and the offense should be like that you do not wanted to intending to kill uh, the person. And your act, if you are trying, you know that you are doing certain act that may cause the death of the other person, but you are doing it for preventing the other person from the death of grievous hurt, then it would be apply, otherwise it will not apply. So it is explanation is there. Mere pecuniary benefit is not benefit within the meaning of section 26, 27, and this section. Uh, the pecuniary explanation has saying that pecuniary benefit is not covered into this section, means any benefit that is in terms of money is not covered in this section. So I hope you understand this section. This is so easy. Any just you, if you are not remembering anything, just remember or try to be logical. If you read the title of the section, what it says, act done in good faith for benefit of a person without consent, means any act done in good faith for benefit of a person without consent. If a person, or if you are doing certain acts in the benefit of other person without that person's consent, so that would be not be of amount to as offense, but it should have been not intensely causing hurt or death and other thing. So you may have to be mindful. So we are coming to section 31, communication made in good faith. No communication made in good faith is an offense by reason of any harm to the person to whom it is made. It is simply saying that if you know the doctor is uh, doctor if a surgeon or patient or doctor is what we say, analyzes a person, take that he checked the person what disease he may have, and he find out that is a very fatal disease he is going through. So if what is the duty of the doctor, the duty of the doctor or surgeon is to communicate. So it is simply saying that any information one may communicated in good faith and consequences is not responsible. Okay. No communication made in good faith is an offense by reason of any harm to the person to whom it is made, if it is made for benefit of that person. Illustration देख लेते हैं इसका. A surgeon in good faith communicates to a patient his opinion that he cannot live. The patient dies in consequences of the shock. A has committed no offense, though he knew it to be likely that the communication might cause the patient's death. But here he communicated in good faith, so he is not liable or not liable for offense. So we are moving to the section 32, act to which a person is compelled by threats. Except murder and offences against the state punishable with death, nothing is an offence which is done by person who is compelled to do by threats which at any time of doing it reasonably cause the apprehension that the instant death to the person will otherwise be the consequences. Here this section is saying that whenever certain in movies we see that one person is compelled, act to which a person is compelled by threats. If I put gun on your head and say that, hey you have to go and rob the person Jed. If you will definitely go and rob the person Jed, because whenever there is a gun on your head, nothing's understand. So this act is simply saying that if any act or any offense you are doing because you were compelled to do so, it will be not amount to be offense and you will not punished. But there are certain offenses that were not included, that is except murder and offenses against the state that were punishable by the with death. So means any act you can do whenever you compelled by threat. So that would not amount to be death. Okay, that would not amount to be offense, and you were not punished. But whenever you do in threat, or you were compelled to do murder or any offense against the state, those punishment is with death, then you should be also punished, but otherwise he will not, provided that the person doing the act did not of his own accord or from a reasonable apprehension of harm to himself sort of instant death, place himself in situation by which he became subject to such constraint. Means whenever you compelled that if you will not do anything, you will compelled or you will be get the punishment of death. So what will you do? So explanation first is one is a person who of his own accord or by reason of a threat of being beaten joins a gangs of dacoits, dacoits, knowing their character is not entitled to the benefit of this exception, on the ground of his having been compelled by his associates to do anything that is an offense by law. Whenever one person is knowingly joined the group or group of dacoits because he wanted to escape the threat or fear of beating, then he will be not covered. Explanation number second: a person seized by a gang of dacoits and forced by threat of instant death to do a thing which is an offense by law. For example, a smith compelled to take his tools and to force the door of a house for dacoits to enter and plunder it is entitled to benefit of this exception. So it is so easy. If you study, you will easily understand. If you will not understand, here is a benefit in YouTube. You can just rewind the video and you will from the beginning you will start watching. So section 13, act causing slight harm. It reads as nothing is an offense by reason that it causes or that it is intended to cause or that it is known to be likely to cause any harm, if that harm is so slight that no person of ordinary sense and temper would complain of such offense. Means it is saying that very slight harm that nobody is going to complain about, like if you slap someone, uh, one slap, and it is so small thing you used abuse language, or there is some disagreement, that on very small things, for those a reasonable person will not take action, that things were covered under this act. Okay, so for today we are not covering much, we are just stopping here, and in next video we are going to cover all other things. So thank you so much for being part of this. If you will liked, or if you have any suggestions, please put or follow the comments.